the Daily English News program on Azərbaycan Television with the major developments of the day. I'm Qabarıq. A mid-term ministerial conference of the non-aligned movement was held in a video format on July 13th. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, İlham's statement in a video format was presented at the event. Stressing that the 60th anniversary of the establishment of non-aligned movement being the largest political institution after the UN General Assembly celebrated this year, President İlham said the complex global challenges have further increased the relevance of the movement as advocating for peace, multilateralism and global solidarity lies at the core of the non-aligned movement. Saying that the historic Bandung principles promoting respect for the sovereignty, territorial integrity of all countries, non-interference in the internal affairs, among others, fully coincide with Azerbaijan's foreign policy priorities. The head of our state dwelt on the ties of our country with the non-aligned movement, stressed the importance of Azerbaijan at the 2019 summit of the non-aligned movement. Azerbaijan had adopted a comprehensive and ambitious action plan for its chairmanship. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 pandemic hit the world, bringing with it new realities and challenges. However, we were able to react to the new situation quickly and adequately. The summit of the contact group of the non-aligned movement was held. Moreover, a special session of the UN General Assembly was held at the level of heads of state and government on the initiative of Azerbaijan, said President İlham Aliyev. Azerbaijan has provided humanitarian and financial assistance to more than 30 countries to support their fight against the pandemic. Azerbaijan has also made voluntary financial contributions to the World Health Organization in the amount of $10 million, half of which was earmarked for non-aligned movement's member states, at the head of state, and added that the Azerbaijani chairmanship explores the possibility of setting up an institutional network for the non-aligned movement's use. Likewise, the Azerbaijani chairmanship intends to develop the parliamentary dimension of cooperation among NAM member states. The head of state also spoke about the victory in the periodic war, noting that Azerbaijan itself ensured the implementation of the UN Security Council resolutions, restored its territorial integrity and historical justice by military political means. The Nagorno-Karabakh conflict was left in the past. The glorious victory of Azerbaijan is a triumph of international law, justice and the non-aligned movement's values. Highly appreciating the constant support of the non-aligned movement countries to the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Azerbaijan, the head of state perceived a resolute stance of 7 non-aligned movement countries supporting Azerbaijan's position against the attempts of some members of the UN Security Council to adopt a biased resolution without taking into account the resolutions adopted in 1993 as commitment to the Bandung principles and the movement's values. Stressing that everything is destroyed in the liberated territories and the reconstruction work has already started there, the head of state said the 5 national priorities on the economic development of the country for the next 10 years were defined, and the return of hundreds of thousands of IDPs to their homeland in dignity and safety is a key priority. The head of state said Azerbaijan will do its utmost for contributing to increasing international influence of the non-aligned movement, to strengthening solidarity within the movement and defend justice and international law. On July 13th, President İlham Aliyev received Deputy Prime Minister of the Russian Federation, Alexei Averchuk. Deputy Prime Minister of Russia, Alexei Averchuk, extended President Vladimir Putin's greetings to the head of state. President İlham Aliyev thanked for the greetings of the Russian President and asked the Deputy Prime Minister to extend his greetings to Vladimir Putin. The sides discussed issues related to the activities of the trilateral working group co-chaired by the Deputy Prime Ministers of Azerbaijan, Russia and Armenia. The Azerbaijan-Russia bilateral relations were underlined. The increase in trade and export of agricultural products from Azerbaijan to Russia was held at the meeting. They also discussed issues related to further improving the operation of border checkpoints on the Azerbaijan-Russian border and held the increase of transit through the north-south corridor. The sides exchanged views on prospects for cooperation in a number of fields, including in trade, economy and transport. One year has passed since the beginning of the Taurus battles, one of the main stages of the path to the glorious victory in the Great Patriotic War. During the 5-day military operation that began on July 12th last year, the Azerbaijani army resolutely prevented another sabotage of the enemy and dealt a crushing blow to the opposing side, as in the April 2016 victory.
Launching provocative activities as annexation plan, new war for new territories in July of the past year, Armenia went on the offensive on the state border in Tovuz direction and made its possibly last attempt to seize new territories. After the crashing retaliatory strike of the Azerbaijan army, the enemy was put in its place and retreated with severe losses. Even though the ceasefire was being regularly violated and provocations in the border zone were ongoing, due to the events that took place on July 12th, the government of the adventurer Pashinyan realized the truth that Azerbaijan has a strong army, and even Yerevan's obtaining of more than 400 tons of arms assistance will not allow to continue the annexation policy. On 13th of July, at the meeting of the Security Council, President İlham stated that the Azerbaijani state will never back down from its just cause. Yet another provocation of Armenia was resolutely prevented and adequately rebuffed. The death of our soldiers has been avenged. All the attempts of the Armenian side failed. Azerbaijan protected its state border, and Armenian soldiers could not cross even an inch into Azerbaijani territory. All the responsibility lies squarely with the military political leadership of Armenia. Such events occur because of the hypocritical and dishonest activities of the Armenian leadership. On the one hand, it appeals to the international community and asks for help in strengthening the ceasefire on the Armenian-Azerbaijani contact line. On the other, by committing military provocations, it wants to invade the territory of Azerbaijan, seize our positions, fire on the civilian population and our villages. This ugly and insidious policy will lead Armenia to the abyss, said President İlham. By shelling the villages of Agdam and Döndar-Gushchu of Tovuz district from mortars and artillery mounds on July 13, 2020, the units of the Armenian armed forces hope to avenge the shameful defeat they suffered during the military operations 4 years ago, on April 2nd of 2016. The so-called Ahanyan's line of reinforcement, destroyed by the glorious Azerbaijani army, showed that the enemy would endure the same fate in the Tovuz battles. It is no coincidence that Pashinyan's opponents later accused him of the failure of the operation to return the Tepe elevation. But when we assess last year's events through the lens of the current day, the reality is that the Tovuz operations laid the grounds for the victory in the 44-day war. What happened in July was another provocation of Pashinyan, because Pashinyan was considered not to be part of this military gangster group. Therefore, previous leaders of Armenia were always treating him like a person who did not serve in the army, like a person who is weak, who doesn't have courage, and etc. Therefore, he wanted to have a military victory, especially after they lost in Nakhchivan just months after he came to power. But that was not his blame, because he just came to power. He wanted a military victory. We know exactly that they were planning to retake Tepe, the territory which we gained during the April 2016 war, said President İlham. Certainly, the provocation committed on the state border in Tovuz direction meant a gross violation of the international law and conventions adopted until this point. Also, the world community and individual states issued statements condemning the actions of the aggressor in connection with the July provocation. Pashinyan's team did not learn from this and embarked on a new military adventure, first on August 23rd, then on September 27th. And as a result it suffered a crushing defeat in the 44-day war. The interview and the expressed thoughts of the victorious Supreme Commander, President İlham, at the meeting of the Security Council on July 13th last year, and well-known world media organizations, both in the period before September and after the war, created an information and legal basis for the Azerbaijani state in the liberation of the occupied territories. Thus, the road to victory that began with the July battles ended with the signing of an act of surrender by Armenia on November 10th. The July events and subsequent processes will forever remain in our memory as a real manifestation of the unity of the people, leader, army in the country.
Delta strain of coronavirus has been detected in Azerbaijan. This is stated in a joint statement of the Ministry of Health and the State Agency for Compulsory Medical Insurance. In the next stage of conducted research, recently Delta strain was found in 31 samples, Alpha V1 in 9 samples, and 9 British strains were found in samples taken from those coming from abroad. Analysis of the results of research conducted in the world in our country once again shows that the most effective way to protect against new and rapidly spreading dangerous variants of the virus is vaccination.
An event on modern view of the happy family formula was held. Chairman of the State Committee for Family, Women and Children, Bahar Muradova, spoke about the history of family traditions in Azerbaijan. It was noted that the purpose of the event is to support the development of the historical Azerbaijani family model and the protection of family traditions, the promotion of our national and spiritual values, instilling in the younger generation feelings of love for the motherland and the nation, educating them in the spirit of patriotism. Chairman of the Veterans Council of Young Azerbaijan Party, Arif Rahimzadeh, stressed that Azerbaijan is one of the countries known in the world for its rich examples of family culture. Then an opinion poll was presented. An interregional forum was held in the Russian city of St. Petersburg on the initiative of Chief Azerbaijani Youth Organization of Russia, Leyla Aliyeva, Director of the St. Petersburg branch of Mladaya Gvardia, Alexander Malikov, Director of St. Petersburg House of Nations, Valery Nikolaev, Chairman of the Youth Union in St. Petersburg, Elman Manafov, and Executive Secretary of the Union, Ceyhun Hüseyin, spoke at the forum. The speakers focused on the special attention of Leyla Aliyeva, Chief Azerbaijani Youth Organization of Russia, to a healthy lifestyle and care for the environment. As part of the forum, new seedlings were planted in the Park of Aviators in St. Petersburg. 133 more cases of coronavirus infections have been recorded in Azerbaijan, while 71 people have been recovered and discharged from the hospital. One patient died. The overall confirmed cases in Azerbaijan have reached 337,456, with 330,873 recoveries and 4,988 deaths. The number of active infections is 1,595. To detect infection cases, overall 3,867,916 tests have been conducted in Azerbaijan. The task force under the Cabinet of Ministers reported. That was all for the day. Thank you for being with us. Goodbye.